We did over 5 million this year. And, yeah, we have people, stuff, and like, right, that has like inherent value. All your value is like in the air. But I mean, you can eventually prove that out to a potential buyer.
There's a saying,
it just takes a little more time.
Fast up, fast down, slow down. And right now we're trying to be fast up, not down ever.
Yeah.
But ultimately slow. Like we want to, and that's a really hard balance to strike. And I think that's something that is a good lesson for entrepreneurs to hear. I've learned it the hard way, man. I scaled an affiliate marketing business, to over 7 figures a year, and then watched it in about 18 months and watched it completely unravel a few years later. And it took less than a year to go from that to nothing, to like, I'm bleeding out money and I have to close accounts and stuff. And then
how did that happen? How did that happen that it went up so fast and then down? Just like your organizational structure? Like, did you learn a lot from that you applied now to this business?
Yeah, actually, that's yes, I've learned a lot. There were 2 lessons. One, I learned not to have all my eggs in one basket.
Okay.
And I learned never to neglect or underappreciate the value of your list. So as an affiliate marketer, I started in 2008. And you could still run straight affiliate offers. Like you could run on Google. You could run a Google search ad that linked right to a replicated sales page that was literally hosted on the affiliate offer site with your little custom URL extension, right?
Right.
And so you might go, if you Googled back then, if you Googled like, I don't know, vitamin C supplement or something, there might be 5 ads on the page. And let's say 3 of them were for the same vitamin C supplement, but it was different affiliates running the ads. And the only thing that was different was the code in the URL that tracked the affiliate. And finally, Google was like, this is a terrible user experience. We don't want multiple replicated offers showing up as search results. So basically now we're not going to allow affiliate ads on our platform. And so they whacked that in 2010. And I think 2010, I did like a little over 2 million in affiliate commissions. 2011, I leased out some space. I had 10 different internet connections run into the space. So like literally I called like Comcast or whoever it was and was like, hey, I need 10 internet connections. And they're like, what are the addresses? And I'm like, it's all the same address. And they're like, what? And I'm like, no, I need 10 different lines because they're going to have different IP addresses and different, there's other tagging mechanisms that, platforms can use to see where you're at. So I had 10 lines. I had 10 different laptops. I had 10 different wireless modems, and I was on this program with Verizon. And even then I could only run one for 2 or 3 months at a time before Google would connect my IP address and ban it. And then I'd have to call the cable company, have them change it to a new static IP. I'd have to call Verizon, get a new modem. I'd have to get a new laptop because there's what's called a MAC address in the laptop. And that would buy me another 2 or 3 months with Google. And I'm running this on 10 computers. So 2011 was the most miserable, but also profitable year of my life up to that point. Because that was my life. I was like, running around playing whack-a-mole. And then by 2012, I couldn't sustain it. And it literally just disappeared. But when I talk about the list, during that time, I had generated over 300,000 email leads. And I was never emailing them.
You were depending so much on the Google ads, which was working, and then they made an algorithm change, and then you adjusted and you kind of figured out how to make it work. But eventually all that running around made you bleed. And then you were thinking like, I should have figured out other ways besides just
and I
Google
wasn't
ads.
doing the easy, obvious thing, which is, Jeff, you've got 300,000 people that opted in. You know what they're interested in. Send them a damn email every day and keep the relationship warm. And with a list that big, I could have made a couple $1 million a year just, peppering out affiliate offers to that list, but I let the list go cold. And so then once I was like, oh crap, I really need to engage with my list, the list had gone cold. So as soon as I started trying to broadcast to the list, people were like, who is this guy? They didn't remember me because they opted in 2 years ago. So they hit spam and my deliverability goes to crap. And now I can't get the emails to inbox.
Wow. I mean, the lesson I'm taking away from that is you said put all your eggs in one basket, but like it was for you, it was Facebook ads. And I'm sure the returns were great and it was working. It was like crack. And it was just like the 10 IP addresses. Like that's so fun.
Yeah, especially that year, because I was the only affiliate who figured out or maybe was willing to do that much work.
And that gave you another year. That gave you another year or two.
Yeah. And so I wrote it out for 2011, 2012, and I had basically the field to myself.
Yeah.
But then it was
but then eventually Google always wins. Like if they have an objective that they don't want that, then they're going to figure it out.
They'll figure it out.
That's a good lesson.
You don't try to fight City Hall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like if my Facebook ads got shut off or something, I don't know what I would do. I mean, that's how we're getting all our revenue from there. We have a great email list too. We make a lot of money from our email list, but I've known this and I'm trying to hire.
Yeah, I would say at least this, Facebook is one mega entity. So that covers Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
Google is one mega entity. So that covers Google search, Google Display Network, and YouTube. Mm-hmm. I would at the very least say, and I don't know your specific business, but generally I feel a whole lot better knowing that I've got really robust campaigns built out in both of those platforms where frankly, I could live off of either one if one of them went away.
Plus email.
Now I'd like to get a third leg in that stool that I feel as strong about.
What do you think it would be?
I think, and granted, this is still Google dependent, but within Google, it's a very separate ecosystem, which is actually building out my YouTube channel and building a really high value authority YouTube channel. And then, LinkedIn for certain offers has a lot of power. But yeah, I would feel more comfortable if I had a really clear third channel, but frankly, probably it also can end up being speaking, books, offline marketing.
Right. And you can build some of that up.
And I'm doing all of it. That stuff just takes longer, Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, Snapchat ads for me have had a little success.
Have they?
I've tried Pinterest and Twitter, no success. Snapchat ads are, I don't know, because it's like attributions and I'm running it to a warm audience. So they say I'm getting a certain amount of sales, but I don't know if those people already found me through Facebook and then eventually bought and were also on Snapchat and then attributed it to Snapchat, but I don't know if it's that good, but it says it's returning sales.
You could plug into Hyros and it would clean that up for you. But I don't know if your customer value is high enough to warrant, the cost of that. But for what it's worth,
that's something I eventually need to do.
Yeah, we have it extremely granular. Like I know if somebody buys today and they came into the funnel a year ago, I know that on, January 4th, 2020, they clicked our Facebook ad, and on January 9th, they caught us on YouTube, and you can just see the whole breadcrumb.
Who would you give that attribution to in that case? That's the trouble, all right?
Probably the inception, the incipient.
Okay, the first thing.
Yeah, because that's what we spent the money on.
Exactly. All right, yeah, that makes sense. I almost forgot. If you really enjoyed the clip, if you really enjoyed the podcast, one thing I would appreciate more than anything, just hit the little subscribe button. And I have hours and hours of podcast footage talking to some of the best entrepreneurs out there on YouTube. Watch some more of them. Check out this. Check out this. Go ahead and binge. Have some fun. I love you. Thanks for watching.